So definitely students at that age, high school students, teenagers are very socially conscious, and it gives them the kind of power that they really have never had in past years because the internet makes the world really small. Gives them the opportunity to have an impact more than they really have ever had in the past history. So it can really be a very powerful agent for good, I think.
You're listening to the smartsocial.com podcast. I'm your host, Josh Oakes. This is our District Talk segment where we interview district leaders to learn how they're keeping students safe on social media so those students can someday shine online. Now, let's get back to the interview.
Hi, my name is Dr. Kathleen Hermsmeyer. I am the superintendent of the Springs Charter Schools Network. We operate 21 K-12 student locations operating in Southern California across 5 counties across Southern California.
Hello, my name is Jim Coombs. I'm from the Lowell Joint School District. We are about 30 minutes north of Anaheim, Disneyland. We are in 2 cities, La Habra, Orange County, Whittier, LA County. We have 3,100 students spread across 5 elementaries and 1 junior high.
Good morning. My name is Mary Duan. I'm the Director of Communications and Community Outreach for the Salinas City Elementary School District in beautiful Monterey County. We have about 8,400 students spread out through 15 schools, and we are the largest elementary school district in the county.
First question I have for you. How has the prevalence of technology in the classroom impacted student learning and engagement?
I would say that the internet and the prevalence of very inexpensive devices has completely revolutionized our ability to do school in the classroom, out of the classroom, anywhere learning. So it's been quite a game changer. The fact that the pandemic also opened everybody's eyes to the fact that everybody learned how to do Zoom. Everybody learned how to use the tools that are out there to do synchronous and asynchronous sorts of learning. So I think it's been tremendously impactful. And I think we've only just begun to see how that's going to change education for the future.
Yeah, technology in the classroom has been both a blessing and a challenge. Kids have so much technology at home that sometimes their ability to learn and to focus has become a challenge for us. So we use a lot of technology one-on-one, Chromebooks, but we have actually started to taper it back a little bit so that there is much more engagement with the teacher, much more engagement with the group of students. So in a school day, we use things like iReady, we use ViewSonics and those things, but it's probably 30% of the school day where we have allowed technology, and we pulled it back from others. Again, because they just struggle to even engage with their own peers. COVID during that pandemic was a real challenge because that was 100% online. But it sure has opened up opportunities for us to get kids exposed to a great deal of information and a wider scope of that.
That's a tough question. Clearly, it is now impossible to function very effectively without technology. And students are ever more savvy about the use of social media, about the use of computers. And so I think when it comes to technology in the classroom, we see the great things that can happen, such as collaboration. Technology eases the ways students collaborate with each other and the way they collaborate with their teachers. And it also brings some of the negatives with it that are pretty well known throughout society.
How can school districts deal with social media issues that originate maybe on a social media app, but then create a very real problem on campus?
Yeah, that happens. That happens all the time. In our school, we have a combination of in-classroom learning and at home. We have all of our programs are hybrid programs. Our students go to school 3 to 4 days a week in the classroom and 1 or 2 days a week at home. And so that combination of in and out of the classroom can create some of those boundary issues between social media and that kind of difficulty bridging those barriers, kind of having that difficulty there. And teenagers are still trying to figure out how to be good humans. And sometimes they make really bad mistakes, and it is a teachable moment. And so we take those opportunities. We do a lot of training with the students on how to be good citizens in the classroom and on social media. And we work with parents as well to be involved in their child's lives on the computer as well as, in the real world, so to speak.
Yeah.
Yeah, social media, I would say it becomes a problem within about a half hour, not even the next day. Within a half hour, it becomes a significant impact on student learning, the classroom functioning. We are continuing to struggle with that. That is not an easy challenge to overcome because it rampantly, it spreads across. Fortunately, in elementary and junior high, we don't allow cell phones to be used during the school day, but it doesn't mean that parents don't. And they are instantly calling and they're wanting to know what's going on and what's on the Nextdoor app and what's been on Facebook and what's been on Twitter. So we really are struggling. We're trying to get into that by preemptively teaching parents, exposing them to the fact that we would like you to pause and not react to something that gets posted. Know that a significant amount of what gets posted through that is amped up or hyped up. So we're trying to, again, preemptively help parents to think before they react, but it is a challenge and we don't have it solved yet.
We see that pretty regularly, I think, and it's endemic throughout any district that for as great as social media can be, it brings with it the negatives such as bullying and harassment and taking away from effective learning. So I think what our district has done, and I'm sure it's what other districts throughout the country have done, is we move to block certain apps. We try to let students know every single day positive behavior brings with it positive benefits, negative behavior brings with it negative benefits. And so our PBIS team is constantly trying to reinforce that.
Can you provide some examples of how your students may have used their social media in a positive and productive way that may have benefited themselves or their community?
I can think of a number of cases in which our students have done amazing things in the community, raised money, created their own nonprofits to get out there and support different movements, including, I can think of one where they built a bridge in a park where there was a washed out area and people couldn't get from one side of the park to the other. They raised money for it. They actually went out there and built it. All that was a crowd-funded, over social media. Another group raised money for latrines out in Africa, things like that. So definitely students at that age, high school students, teenagers, are very socially conscious, and it gives them the kind of power that they really have never had in past years because the internet makes the world really small. Gives them the opportunity to have an impact more than they really have ever had in the past history. So it can really be a very powerful agent for good, I think.
Yeah, social media, again, as we say frequently that it's a challenge, there have been some positives that come out of it. I had one this morning, a Nextdoor app. We're doing construction and parents are asking what's going on. Because of that social media, within less than 2 seconds, 3 seconds, the entire 300 people on that site knew about our construction, where it was going, who was where, why it was there, why the school was closed. So we have a lot of that. We have tried to embrace that. So every school has a social media front page. Teachers and principals post things regularly. We post things regularly, school events, school activities. And when we do have that once in a while where there's a dumpster fire somewhere, we have tapped into 2 or 3 people that immediately go onto that website and either help share the truth or dispel the myth that we already know is coming.
We have a younger population of student, right? We are a preschool through 6th grade district. And so our students don't necessarily have as much access to social media as, say, junior high school students or high school students do. But what our team does is constantly try to remind students, use your power for good. Use your power to uplift each other. Use your power to uplift the education that you are receiving, and to just strive to do your best every day to be a friend and not a bully. Because I think one of the biggest problems we see with social media, and again, that's all over the country, is social media can really lead to some gnarly bullying situations. So we try to reinforce with our students, especially those who do have greater access to social media, be good about it. Be kind with it. If you have a following, use it to be a nice person.
In the age of 1-to-1, how are you preparing students for positive technology use both in the classroom and at home?
In our school, because we are a hybrid model, students attend class, let's say 3 days a week, and then the 2 days a week they are doing home study. In addition to home study, they attend internships. If they're high school students, they attend internships. They have a device assigned to them, and it's a Chromebook, and we load their work onto the Chromebook. They have, of course, an internet account. They have their Gmail account through us. We have Go Guardian protection, which means that we're able to protect and see what's going on when they're wherever they are, if they're on our device. And so that one-to-one device has been very helpful for us because it provides us a lot of information about what the kids are doing on the device when they're not, in the classroom with us. So we can tell, if their child isn't doing the work, they say, oh, it just got lost. The computer ate my homework. We can say, well, you weren't logged on at all. We can see, we can tell the parents, oh, the child logged on 12 minutes onto Canvas learning management system. And we can see it. We can see exactly what they've done. And, there's only so much of those kind of shenanigans that can happen before everybody understands what's really going on. So this kind of information has been very helpful for us to keep children on the path, And in the old days, the kids were in school 5 days a week. They were in front of the teacher, but sometimes they were just not doing their work for 5 days a week in the classroom, in the back of class. So it's not just because they were there doesn't mean they were doing their work.
With the advent of 1-to-1 and helping them to use technology positively, because unfortunately it does give them access. Even with our filters, they find ways on their own cell phones or at home. We're trying to find positive ways to do that. Quite honestly, we're struggling with figuring out the best way to do that. We're trying to teach them technology ethics, technology wise use, how to filter out what is filter noise, what is real stuff. But it is an uphill battle for us. Again, we're a K-8. We do know that if we can reach them, teach them in the young age, we won't have to rescue them at the upper grade. So we're doing a lot of trying it, but it's definitely an experiment in its actions, and we're trying.
I think we make it clear to the students, and we set this up through our parent handbook that parents are asked to sign every year. You are asked to sign a technology agreement. You are asked to abide by certain rules vis-a-vis that technology agreement. You are not to go searching for things that you really shouldn't be searching for. And we have mechanisms in place to keep some awful adult content from getting to the kids. And, kids are smart, though, and they will find workarounds. So we have systems set up where we are alerted if inappropriate searches are taking place. The student will receive some amount of counseling as a result of that. But again, we try to portray technology and social media, the positive things that it can bring to you. And again, going back to social media, for me, when I think of positive impacts of social media, I think about the ability it gives you to collaborate, right? Kids it's so much fun to see. They're so much smarter than I was when I was in elementary school, and they have greater tools. We have kids who are making films. We have kids who are making flip books. And that all comes through technology and social media apps. So we try not to portray it as something that has a great deal of negatives for it, but we also try to instill in them the responsibility that comes with it and comes with accessing technology.
Thanks for listening to our smartsocial.com podcast. I'm your host, Josh Oakes. This was our District Talk segment where we interview school district leaders to learn how they're keeping students safe on social media so those students can someday launch into their future by shining online. This episode was brought to you by our smartsocial.com VIP program. It's called the Very Informed Parent Program, which helps you engage your students with teen-led video lessons. Stay one step ahead with our premium parent newsletter and discover hidden features on trending apps on teens' phones and our 54 plus live parent and student-friendly events every single year. You can click on the link below to chat with one of our team members if you want a free pass to our VIP program to support your community with our smartsocial.com resources. And if you're a district leader who has a success story, we would love to feature you on a future episode. You can click the links below to reach out. Thanks so much for listening, and we look forward to seeing you on the next episode. Have a great day.